Hello, my name is Maribise. I'm so glad you're here with us. Today I will be talking about the OR sound, which is one of the 7 different R sounds in American English language. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend you check out our videos about how to produce the R sound in the word initial position. This is the sound you'll find at the beginning of the word red. There's both an instructional video and a practice video, and these videos will lay a wonderful foundation on which you could work on the next R's. So let's get started with the OR sound. OR, just like is one of the 6 vocalic R sounds in the American English language. With any of the vocalic R's, the production of the R, is influenced by the vowel sound that precedes the R. So with the vowel that precedes the R is schwa. With OR, the vowel that precedes the R production is O. And the IPA symbol for O is just like we write it in American English in our text and our writing. Starting with the O sound, the lips are completely rounded for the production of the O sound. So when I say O, you can see my lips are rounded. And that will happen when I say OR, when I combine both the O and R sounds together for the OR production. So the O sound hopefully is one you already have. If not, it sounds just like this. O, O, O. Now for the R. The R production is going to be just like what we talked about in past videos of R. It's a very interesting sound. It's hard to see visually from the outside, but it has to do with the tongue and the place your tongue is in your mouth and the tension that you feel in your tongue. So when you say the R sound, it's made by pulling the tongue back and bunching it back, constricting it, contracting it, tightening it, until you get this nice sound. So your tongue is tight, it's bunched up back in your mouth, and if you're having any difficulty with the R sound in isolation, I would again check out our videos on R production in the word initial position. It will really help you a lot. Now I'm going to say the OR sound 5 times so you can really hear it. And just as I've said before, one of the keys to producing the sound yourself is to be able to identify it and hear it in other people speaking. So here we go. OR, 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 OR. So notice when I say the OR sound, my mouth is round, the lips are rounded because of that O, OR. The lips are rounded, and they stay a little bit tight even when I say the R sound. OR, OR, OR. All I feel in my mouth, which you can't see, is my tongue sliding back slightly and tightening in order to produce that R sound. So here's our list of 8 words that will target the OR sound. Core, door, for, more, or, pour, sore, war. As you'll notice in the list of words, OR is most often spelled as OR or ORE, but there are other variations of spelling that you'll see for how OR is represented in writing. As a general rule in English, OR is pronounced OR. So for method 1, you'll take the set of 8 words and you record yourself saying them before you start practicing. This will be your baseline. Then you'll practice for a week or 2, saying this set of 8 words at least 3 times a day. And then you'll re-record yourself after a week or 2 to see the changes that are happening in your speaking and your pronunciation of OR. The second method is available for those of you who are not quite there yet with the OR sound, who aren't really hearing it in that set of 8 words when you say them in isolation or by themselves. So if that's your situation, you can use a method by which you take a strong R that you do have already and you use that R to strengthen and shape the OR sound. So if you watched our videos about R production in the word initial position, you can go back to that R word that was your best word from the very beginning and that you then strengthened over weeks with us during your practice. Let's say that word was rope. I choose rope especially because it has that O sound in it. That could be useful to you even if it wasn't your strongest R, it may be something to consider and play around with when you're trying to figure out what helps you best pull out this OR sound at the end of these targeted words. So I'll choose rope. And for method 2, I'm going to take that word and I'm going to stick it on the end of the list of words that we're using to target the OR sound. So it will sound something like this. Core rope, door rope, for rope, more rope. Finally, there's method 3. And method 3 is for an individual who doesn't feel that method 1 or method 2 is helping them really get that OR sound. So method 3 is trying to get the OR sound in isolation by sticking on a sound at the end of it that helps get your tongue in the right position for OR. And that sound is going to be the G sound, which we represent in English, in American English, as the letter G. So G, G. Notice when you produce the G sound, your tongue is pulled back in your mouth and it's bulging. It has a sort of a mountain top, and that mountain is touching the palate. It's touching the top of the mouth. G, G. That's how you produce that sound. And why it's helpful is because that's pretty much where your tongue is positioned when you're making the R sound. It's just that when you make the R sound, you're not tapping the top of your mouth. You're not touching the palate at all. So it just helps draw your tongue back and get it closer to the position you want it for the production of OR. Now, this method could be particularly helpful for people whose influencing language is Arabic, Spanish, where the R sound is made with the tongue tip and is made forward in the mouth by tapping or trilling or vibrating the tongue in order to get that R sound. When we say org, org, the tongue tip is doing nothing. It's sleeping, it's relaxed, it's not active, it's not contracted. It's just relaxed, and that's exactly how you want it to be in order to get the OR sound. So this method is very helpful for those of you who are still getting that vibration or that trill or that tapping happening with the tip of the tongue on the top of your palate, especially in the front of the mouth, which we call the alveolar ridge, right here. You don't want any of that for the OR production. In fact, you don't want any tapping or trilling or vibration for any of the R's in American English. And that's something that you'll learn over time, because maybe you're 40, 30 years old. I don't know how old you are, but you've had many, many years of your tongue doing the same thing for the R sound, and now it has to learn something new. So it takes time and patience, but again, this org, this little fake word that we're going to be using to help get the OR sound is going to help by positioning your tongue back where it needs to be for the R production. So if you're using method 3, all you're going to do is get the OR in isolation and stick on the sound G at the end. And it's going to sound like this: org, org, org. And what I would do is practice saying that at least 10 times, at least 3 times a day. So that's 30 times in the day. And that's just to help you relax your tongue and getting to the position that you want it, and really focus on the tongue vibration. Is it vibrating? Is it tapping? Is it moving forward? If that's happening, then you're not going to be able to get the OR sound. Awesome. Now you have 3 methods that you can use to try and get this OR sound in your American English speaking. Don't forget, working on your pronunciation and your American English accent is all about having a positive purpose, paying attention to the detail, practicing consistently, and being willing to make a lot of mistakes, because making mistakes is how we learn how to make change. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel so you can get updates about our videos, and I hope you guys have an awesome week. You got this!